Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, July 10th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today is the 4 of Swords. I am not surprised to see this card making an arrival again. As you may have just heard me say prior to starting this daily collective read, that we have been seeing with the card of the day that there is a need for focus on self-care right now. Emotionally, energetically, there is a lot of patience that we're also seeing is required in that degree of self-care. So today could be feeling like a bit of a restive day, giving yourself this opportunity to have that bit of a pause, to be able to address these situations and circumstances that you may have been feeling leading you to that point of exhaustion that we have been seeing over the last few days in the daily collective read. There is the feeling of stillness that's pervasive for today. Let's see if we get more clarification on this feeling of stillness. The next card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is our 4 of Pentacles energy. So this is a moment that we're really seeing a lot of conservation of energy that is occurring for both masculine and feminine, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. There is a need right now to be able to really kind of give yourself this space to take some of your own time and energy back right now, potentially and especially because one of the things that we have identified in the last few days were some ongoing feelings of conflict that were arising. These were either internalized conflicts that you yourself were experiencing or very practical external conflicts that were requiring a lot of emotional and energetic energy to be expended. We're really seeing here that this is that moment of just kind of collecting yourself on the other side of some of that conflict, to allow yourself a point of assessment, to allow yourself a point of review. And this could even be feeling like some withholding energy that's coming forward at this time, recognizing some places and spaces that are just pulling on you too much energetically at this moment. And this is you conserving your own energy by pulling back in this fashion, all for the support of the self. Next card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is, we have here our 10 of Pentacles in its reversal. So this is some of that reason that we're also seeing that there is this need right now and balance and orientation today, but specifically on this degree of self-care, allowing yourself this space to pause, allowing yourself this degree to rest, pulling your own energy back in some way, shape, or fashion. And this would give a lot of indication to some of that conflict energy that we saw coming through over the last few days. There is a feeling right now of some feelings of dysregulation, particularly in the realms of your social circles and the immediate outside area around you right now. This is a point that we're seeing that this isn't a misacknowledgement of the fact that this is occurring, but we're almost seeing that this is the solution that we're seeing right now to any of these circumstances or situations that are making you feel this feeling of chaos, that are making you feel this feeling of conflict. This is you basically regressing and pulling away from them right now, but all for the care of the self, which is very important and a very advised moment that we've also been seeing in our card of the day with that Ace of Cups in its reversal. The next card that we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is completion of cycles occurring right now with our 10 of Swords. So we've got double 10 cards out. We've been seeing a lot of 10 cards over the last few days. So what we're really identifying at this moment right now is there is a need and desire right now to remove and eliminate anything that is feeling like it is creating too much chaos, too much disorder for you at this time. This is that moment of really analyzing and looking at where this source of this conflict is coming from, all for the point of easement, all for the point of allowing these cycles to come to a point of completion. This is the same work that we have been identifying over the last few days, wanting to come into a state of easement and away from anything that is causing too much difficulty. The solution to this right now that we're experiencing is this pulling back of the energy that is allowing for some of these periods of rest at this moment, as you allow some of these cycles to effectively just come to wrap up and complete themselves in a way. But you're just basically moving away at this time from anything that is just feeling too chaotic at this moment, both masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Final card for our 5-card spread for today is 2 of Pentacles. there is some feeling right now of overwhelm. There is a moment right now, and what we really like to see with this Two of Pentacles coming through right now, as we've indicated, it is not for a degree or a lack or a desire to put in the effort right now. There is a lot of concentration in terms of what feels like it is possible for you to balance versus the places and spaces that are just feeling too overwhelming at this time. So a lot of this recalibration that we're seeing today, a lot of this moment of rest, a lot of this withdrawing back of energy is all for the sake of finding that point of what you can effectively handle versus any places or spaces that have felt like they're becoming too overwhelming or too difficult at this time. That is where we're seeing some of those areas of completion, but all for the sake of better balance moving forward. Now let's continue to get some clarification on these cards, shall we? Clarification right now between our Four of Swords in combination with our Four of Pentacles. We've got double four energy coming out here today. So a moment right now of allowing for a period of rest, but we're even seeing in this period of rest that you are not necessarily maintaining a point of complete underactivity. That this period of rest that you're experiencing right now is also a moment of calling back your own energy, allowing yourself to be restored, really being able to build that point of stability for yourself at this moment, particularly around some circumstances and situations that you feel have been making you feel potentially a lack of stability, as we're seeing indicated with this Ten of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Cups in its reversal. This is giving more of that exhaustion energy that we are recognizing in the cards due to some of the conflicts that we've been seeing that were either internal or external over the last few days. Specifically for both masculine and feminine energy right now, this is that moment of really putting a lot of care and attention into the circumstances around you at this time and really asking, are these allowing some degree of stability? Are they allowing you to be able to have that point of stability? Or are they just leaving you at a point of exhaustion? Are they just leaving you at a point of just feeling like this constant drain? This is that moment that we're recognizing is so important as you're coming through this point of rest today. Because what we're really seeing is this is that determination factor between what you want to continue to hold on to, what is important to you, what is creating that sense of stability, versus those places or spaces that make you seem undervalued, underappreciated, having to put forth more than you gain back at this time. All of this to the degree and desire of coming into a state of better balance for yourself at this moment. And it's going to feel like a lot of rest, but with a lot of self-analysis in that point of rest. Continuing to get clarification on these points right now between our Four of Pentacles in combination with our Ten of Pentacles in its reversal. This again being that point of recognition, potentially even calling back some of your energy or withdrawing from circumstances or situations right now that you are effectively feeling are proving to be too challenging, are proving to be too chaotic, are creating too much of this overriding sense of chaos. A lot of this rest that we're seeing today is helping create that point of orientation as you yourself pull back, restore your own energy, determine both what you're able to hold on to at this moment versus what is potentially causing too much of this chaos and conflict for you at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Wands in its reversal. This is giving a lot of orientation as well as to where we're going to see some of those moments right now. This is some of that exhaustion energy that we're seeing that is requiring or leading to this need for rest at this time, because there are some situations and circumstances that you yourself are potentially experiencing as it relates to your immediate and energy around you, the world around you right now, the society, whatever your sphere of influence is at this time. This is recognizing some areas or situations that you're not necessarily feeling there's going to be a clear path of success on at this time. And what this is allowing, though, and this is what we appreciate, is not necessarily focusing on this lack of success, but instead building that sense of stability for yourself at this moment, recognizing what you need to feel and to have in order to feel secure at this time, that is allowing you to effectively conserve your energy and to withdraw from any of those circumstances or situations that you're feeling are, again, proving to be too chaotic without any sense of impending victory on the horizon. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Ten of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 10 of Swords energy. So double 10 cards coming into play here. This feeling of completion right now with a lot of concentration and orientation towards any situations or circumstances that are creating too much chaos, that are creating too much conflict, that are creating this feeling of disruption that is causing the need to feel like there needs to be a point of rest in the first place, versus and allowing these points of cycle to come to completion, allowing all of this work today, all of this point of rest, all of this analysis, identifying those areas that are creating this conflict so that you can come into a point of allowing these cycles to reach a point of completion. May I please have one card to clarify? Two cards coming out to clarify right now. We have here our 3 of Pentacles in combination with our 2 of Cups in its reversal. So again, we are seeing here, there are the closing out of cycles that are happening at the same time as the building of new solid and stable foundations. We've been seeing this card coming out a lot recently along with the Lovers. I will point out this doesn't necessarily need to be around romantic partnerships. This could be looking at a lot of degrees right now on any partnerships that you're currently experiencing at this time. And this is that moment, again, of either allowing for a point of recorrection, identifying the spaces and places that you feel you can build this strong foundation on, and allowing this to be that point of support as you go forward, versus those situations, those circumstances that you feel are just creating too much conflict at this time, that you are allowing to come to a point of ending, that you are withdrawing your own energy from at this moment, all for the sake of building this stronger foundation around you as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards today between our 10 of Swords in combination with our 2 of Pentacles energy. So again, a feeling of allowing cycles to reach a point of completion, allowing some of these energies to come to that point of completion as you take this moment for yourself to recognize what you can effectively balance, or what situations or circumstances have been creating too much conflict or chaos for you as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Strength card in its reversal. This is feeling like a point of vulnerability. There are some situations and circumstances right now for both masculine and feminine that are causing this moment of feeling very vulnerable at this time. But what we appreciate right now is there is this moment that we've identified with this constant arrival that we've been seeing over the last few days of this Strength card in its reversal, that is really identifying the situations and circumstances that are requiring a different degree of strength. Because when we see the Strength card in its reversal, what it's really calling forth is this degree of recognizing that there is a different type of strength that is required at this time, that some of this point of balancing right now, some of this point of reorientation, some of this point of recognizing what you can effectively balance versus what isn't necessarily creating that sense of balance for you at this time, does require a feeling of vulnerability to come to the fold. These are not easy circumstances that you are moving through at this time. It's feeling like there could be a lot of completion energy for both sides of the collective at this moment. And it is difficult work because it is requiring you to be very vulnerable even as you allow some of these cycles to come to a point of completion. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 9 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 6 of Wands in its reversal. This is that requirement. This is why we see there is this need for rest today and allowing yourself to have some spaces or places of rest, because this is articulating and identifying those spaces that have been leading you to feel exhausted, underseen, undervalued, and also identifying feeling like there isn't any possibility of victory in these, specifically because you don't necessarily feel like you are in a space where you can be seen and appreciated and valued at this moment. And it is leading to a combination feeling right now of, again, requiring, like demanding, if you will, a need to really take some time for yourself to be able to move through this, to collect yourself as you allow these cycles to evolve and adapt and change. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 2 of Swords. So One of the reasons that, as we've been identifying here, the reason that you are requiring the rest at this time is specifically because you are putting a lot of care and degree and analysis in some situations and circumstances that you are identifying. You are feeling a point of exhaustion on. You are potentially feeling like you are giving forth more than you are getting back in kind. You are also recognizing some feelings of loss, of a lack of victory in these areas. And this is that moment of giving yourself a period of rest so that you can effectively determine what that path looking forward will be. What is that going to look like? What are you going to be able to do moving forward from this point? And what we're really identifying is today is really a day of observation, allowing yourself that space and that time to allow your own intuition and your own sense of observation right now to guide yourself forward at this moment as it relates to the next available step or the next right thing to do, or what you feel is going to feel intuitively aligned with everything that you have observed and the action that you need to take going forward from this moment. We don't necessarily see that action coming forth today. We see a lot of observation right now on the possibilities and letting that intuition guide you at this moment so that you can take the correct course of action. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our Three of Pentacles, in combination with our Two of Cups in its reversal. This is that point right now of building a new, strong, stable foundation for yourself from this moment. Really asking yourself what feels strong, what feels supportive, what feels like you're building a strong foundation from which you can really grow from this point, even at some point right now requiring you to pull back some of your own energy at this moment, with a lot of concentration right now on the partnerships in your own life at this time. What is effectively working? What needs to be shifted? What needs to be adapted? What needs to be changed? All to the degree of identifying whether those partnerships show the possibility of success with these changes made to allow for these stabilization points to come forward, or if there are situations and circumstances that you need to effectively move away from at this time in order to build this stronger foundation as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. This will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, there is something to be said about your own abilities right now. We're seeing here some of these doubts and fears that are effectively rising to the surface for feminine right now. This is having an impact in feminine's own degree or feeling of confidence as it relates to what you are going to go forward with, how you want to communicate at this time. This is giving us a lot of clarification as to why the feminine energy is requiring this point of rest at this time, because there is this moment that feels like you are a bit zapped of inspiration. You're feeling a bit creatively blocked. You're feeling a bit communicatively blocked. This is looking right now around some of the circumstances that you find yourself in at this moment to really identify the best path moving forward versus the spaces or places that you don't necessarily have this ability or degree to feel like you can effectively communicate at this time. This is articulating for the feminine right now what is creating some of these blockages and how best to proceed forward from this point, whether these are showing any points of success or impending possibilities of success with alterations, or if these are situations or circumstances that they effectively need to move away from simply for the act of building this stronger stability for themselves at this moment. For the energy that's in union right now, this is going to feel like a lot of work that is potentially going to be required to assist the feminine energy at this time to help them overcome some of their own anxieties and fears and creative blockages at this moment. While for those that are not in union right now, this could either require the masculine energy feeling some frustration or doubts or fears as it relates to the communication and the plans of the feminine energy around them at this moment, or for the feminine energy, this could be feeling a difficulty in articulating and expressing what it is that you truly need and want at this time. This is why we are seeing the need for rest for both feminine and masculine energy at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between the combination of the Three of Pentacles in combination with our Two of Cups in its reversal, in combination right now with the Strength card in its reversal. So specifically right now, really identifying a moment of looking very closely at the partnerships that are around you right now. Doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. This is anything that you are actively involved with at this time, but really putting a lot of care and degree into them right now to really ask, is there reciprocity? Is there even give and take? Is this something that can require and be built upon to create a better sense of stability going forward from this point? Or is this something that needs to be moved away from right now to create this sense of stability? For both situations right now, we see that this is a very vulnerable space that needs to be occupied as you make these determinations going forward. These are not easy decisions that we are identifying as occurring at this time. For masculine and feminine energy that is currently in union, this is working in partnership right now to really identify what needs to be adapted and adjusted to help you feel more stabilized at this moment. But it could be leading to some very vulnerable conversations. For the energies that are not in union right now, what we're really identifying is this is that moment that you are really looking at partnership and you are really trying to articulate and identify if you feel that there is the possibility for a point of stability to come through around these partnerships. And it is very difficult because it is requiring a point of vulnerability, even as you recognize some of these places where you may not necessarily be experiencing this at this time. This is that moment for both feminine and masculine energy of really orienting in terms of what can effectively feel like it can be fixed versus what just needs to basically be shed to allow these cycles to come to a point of completion. And that is requiring a lot of vulnerability work, that is requiring a period of rest at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification. Oh my goodness. Clarification. We've got the combination of the King of Wands in its reversal in combination with the Queen of Wands in its reversal. So if you were wondering if the feminine and masculine energies were mirroring each other right now or were in alignment, yes. But it's a sense or state right now of exhaustion for both of these energies at this time. And it's going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you are in union or not. For the feminine and masculine energy that is in union right now, this could be really working right now at a point of trying to come to a certain degree of easement around some circumstances and situations that you both are effectively feeling are creating any kind of blockages or hurdles. There is this moment that is feeling like there is some kind of communication or passion blockage at this time. This is recognizing this point of vulnerability that is needed right now because it is helping to identify those situations or circumstances between the both of you at this moment that feel like they're creating some of these hurdles. And this is difficult because there is a bit of a communication hurdle that both masculine and feminine energy are feeling at this time as it relates to being able to plan and express what that path looks like going forward. For the masculine and feminine energy right now, there is potentially that is in union. This is a lot of mutual work that you're currently doing right now, even through some of these difficulties in potentially not necessarily having the same outlook, having the same vision going forward, but putting that care and concentration on building a new foundation that will help you be able to move in a more easement as it relates to overcoming some of these hurdles that you're experiencing, particularly in the realms of communication and planning at this time. For masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, what we're really identifying is there is a mutual degree of a communication block that is effectively being hit for both energies. There's a moment right now that is creating a point of doubts and fears or a lack or an inability to communicate and express as it relates to plans, as it relates to progress right now. Masculine energy as well as feminine energy are effectively in the same place right now, having that point of analysis right now, really looking at partnership, the partnerships that they're potentially considering, the partnerships that are fractured right now, and really asking at this moment, are these situations and circumstances ones that look like there is a possibility of building something stable moving forward? This is requiring a lot of vulnerability at this time, hence the blockages in the realms of communication and planning that we are seeing for both feminine and masculine energy at this time. And it is also requiring a point of rest, of internal consideration to determine, if these are areas that you feel that you can actually adapt to and adjust to and accommodate to balance in your own life at this time, or are these things situations that you need to effectively move away from because they are the source of some of that feeling, too much conflict, too much confusion. This is that point of orientation that we're seeing to really help decide the path forward today. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Swords in combination with our Queen of Wands energy in its reversal. This will feel a bit different for feminine. It's not actually going to feel that different for feminine or masculine energy, honestly, because we are also seeing here with our King of Wands in its reversal that masculine energy is effectively sharing this same energetic zone as well right now. There is not necessarily a lot of activity that we're seeing in both energies today. There is this feeling, this call for rest, this call for pause, pulling back on your own energy right now, specifically with a moment of observation, giving yourself the time right now to really look at some of the circumstances and situations that are currently occurring in your own life at this moment, all in an order and to achieve a point of better balance, to recognize what you feel is something that you can keep in balance with yourself at this moment, or what needs to be effectively moved away from or ended, or allowing these cycles to come to a point of completion. For feminine and masculine energy right now, we are seeing that this is that moment of determination, but specifically for the feminine energy, more than anything, this is where you're allowing this point of rest. This is a point and degree of deep observation right now on your own feelings, on your own insights to determine that path going forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Pentacles in its upright. So again, for feminine energy specifically right now, this is really a moment of asking yourself what feels comfortable for you. What do you truly envision as it relates to your own overriding sense of comfort? Are you building this at this time? What is going to allow you to feel that deep sense of comfort in your own present experience right now? Feminine energy this is very much in alignment with some of that star energy that we've been seeing, as well as that Empress energy in its reversal, because feminine energy right now is going through a personal struggle around their own passions and their own creativity, their own blockages, but also with an orientation of trying to come into a state of authenticity as it relates to care of the self at this moment. This is what the feminine energy is really taking this time and space to identify for themselves right now, trying to build a moment of peace, a moment of security, a moment of comfort. This is giving a lot of energy for the feminine right now of spending a day building this sense of comfort around you at this time to help you navigate some of the feelings of conflict or uncertainty that you're experiencing in your wider social circle or in your wider sphere of influence at this time. While for masculine energy right now, the combination between the Queen of Wands in its reversal and the King of Wands. So for the energies that are in union right now, this is either going to feel like a masculine energy that is experiencing or seeing the fact that the feminine energy is going through some of these creative or communication hurdles at this time. They are in effect reflecting it to a certain extent. They're kind of building off of that same energy, and they're mirroring and matching the feminine at this point as well, potentially waiting for the feminine energy to come back into a space where they are more communicative. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union at this time, this could be feeling like a true, deep communication hurdle that is occurring. This is that point right now of really analyzing between the masculine and feminine energy. Are these communication blockages that can be overcome? Or are these two different energies that are moving with different purposes or different plans that are not necessarily able to come into some of that Chariot energy that we identified in our card of the day for today? May I please have one card to clarify? Is this transverse? It's transverse. Clarification right now with our Four of Wands in its transverse. It is some uncertainty as it relates to what the future looks like at this time. For masculine and feminine energy, there is something around this that is creating some of this uncertainty, and it is creating a bit of difficulty and challenge even for the masculine and feminine energy that is currently working in union. There is a bit of fogginess that we are seeing that needs to be identified and articulated for both feminine and masculine energy that's in union at this time. A lot of this degree of pause right now, if you will, could be allowing for some space to help articulate and better communicate what those plans moving forward look like, what that ultimate outcome is. And this could be where the union energy is working right now to overcome any of those separations in terms of what they ideally hope to achieve or see at this moment. And it is hard because there's something here where both energies are looking for support of the other one to help articulate this. But this is either showing that this could be feeling like an area that, as we've been identifying over the last few days, is a bit foggy. There is something here that is creating kind of an implicit lack of certainty at this moment. Or there could be a differentiation right now on what those ideal plans or path moving forward looks like, that the two energies are effectively working through right now to try to overcome. While for the feminine and masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is that point of clarity to help identify whether these are the circumstances and situations that you feel can come into a point of repair right now. For both masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is that moment of uncertainty. This is that moment of recognizing some blockage that is potentially coming forth. And it is requiring you to really look at the other energy and really ask, are you in alignment with what is being built right now? Are you in alignment in terms of what that path is looking forward at? Or are you acting as a hurdle or an obstacle from us being able to move in this direction? For the masculine and feminine energy that's not in union, this is that critical point of analysis in asking whether these energies are working to help create a sense of peace and balance and clarity around these areas today, or if they are generating the source of the chaos, in which case that is the movement away. If this is articulated as something that is able to be alleviated or clarified, then this could be effectively a restorative moment. But this is that ultimate outcome card that we're really seeing, and it all has to do with making sure that everyone is moving in the same direction today. Even while I feel like for the energy that is not in union right now, this is a point of personal rest that you are having as you consider the other energy and whether they're in alignment, because we're seeing that with both energies in their reversal here, communication is not necessarily occurring, or if it is occurring, it is not occurring potentially in a productive way. Final card for today's spread is what we're really seeing here, which is also where we're identifying some of this need for rest right now. Some uncertainty as it relates to the plans moving forward at this time. This is where we see some of that 10 of Pentacles in its reversal coming to the surface right now. But putting that attention and care back in your own immediate environment, back into what presently feels safe. A lot of grounding energy coming to the surface today, allowing to build yourself a point of comfort so that you can better assess and articulate the areas that you do not necessarily see this path going forward with at this time, to allow yourself a degree of planning, to allow yourself those optics about what that future outcome will look like, but concentrating at the moment just on the here and now and building the sense of comfort through a point of needed rest. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 7 of Swords in its reversal. The solution to this circumstance and scenario right now, and we love to see this card in its reversal, is a commitment not to go back to situations or circumstances that have caused you too much pain. For feminine and masculine energy right now, this is that point of optics and orientation, that there is something here that is important and very valuable that's coming through this point of rest, that is allowing you to ground today, allowing you to concentrate on the comfort that you can build for yourself in this moment. That this could be feeling like a lot of energy where you're not necessarily sure what that long-term outcome looks like, what those points of success that you're building to are in this moment are completely clarified. You might not necessarily see that path forward for you at this time, but what we love to see about today's energy is, even with this fogginess coming through, even with this uncertainty as it relates to those short-term plans and that path, we see here that the solution is to ground in the present right now with a commitment not to go back to circumstances and situations that are causing any degree of chaos, conflict, disparity, difficulty. all of this moment of rest is just coming back into balance for both masculine and feminine today, which we love to see. Both union energies or the energies that are not in union. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is High Priestess in its reversal. This is a more of a difficult situation for the feminine to effectively manage right now because the feminine energy is feeling some anxiety as it relates to trusting their own intuition and insight right now. We are seeing this here with that combination energy of the Empress in its reversal with the star energy. Feminine energy is trying to move through a point of coming into a deeper sense of authenticity at this time, while at the same time trying to overcome some emotional hurdles as it relates to love and their own capacity to emotionally express their love at this time. For feminine energy, we are really identifying there is some anxiety around your own trusting your own intuition. That's why we're seeing some of this pause at this moment. Feminine out energy is doubting their own selves, potentially having some of this difficulty rising today because of some of this fogginess as it relates to what those plans and outcomes look like. Feminine is working very hard right now to come back into their logical frame of reference, hence the need for the point of rest. While for masculine energy right now, we are seeing that there is some anxiety or degree right now in terms of feeling some of this energy from the feminine right now. This could be feeling like the feminine energy is at a distance from you right now or blocked or isn't in a place where they can truly articulate what it is that they're deeply feeling at this time. That's also creating potentially some of these communication blockages between the feminine and masculine energy that is currently even in union. For the energy that is not in union right now, this is also creating a point of difficulty because the masculine energy might not necessarily be trusting the judgment of the feminine as well at this time. And that is also a hurdle that needs to be overcome. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please keep in mind that booking a reading on my site is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Also, most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very special message that only I can deliver. The only way that you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.